Quick, what's a funny word?
You picked the wrong people for this call. There's not a single ounce of funniness between the two of us.
I Okay, well hold on. There's our looks. Like combined, surely there's something we we can get to work with that, right?
No, we're just two average-looking white men.
I'm not white. Hold on a second.
And yet you still look like one.
Oh no! Hello everybody and welcome back to Double Dip Draft. I am your host Cabral, coach of the Hash League Angel Slashers. Joining me today
is White Loaf, coach of the Loafville Lanterns.
Yeah, and we're taking a look at Week 3 for Teal Division. I know that Week 2 probably just came out the other day, and this one came out right after. But that's okay. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the matches for Teal Division this week.
The only behind I know is looking at Pokemon from behind in Pokemon Showdown.
Absolutely. Do you want to try that one more time, or are you gonna keep that?
No, I'm owning it. I'm sticking with it.
All right. As long as you're confident and sure of your own answers.
I get made fun of enough. It doesn't matter. This is nothing new.
That's fair. It's been a crazy week. We've had some pretty fun matches this week overall, and I think we're really starting to see where the divisions are kind of falling for. Like, Week 3 is kind of big, because if you don't have a win going into Week 3, then by Week 3 or 4, you really need to start making up ground. If you have low diff, you can make your way back, but at this point, there's a lot of players. If someone has 3 wins, it's not as likely that they're going to fall through the cracks to get to the to under 4th place in the division.
Yeah. No, at this point, like, we have a pretty good idea of which players are most likely going to make playoffs at this point. At least, like, you know, again, like, if like you said, if someone has 3 wins and, like, you know, everyone's looking at them like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and start team building for them for playoffs.
Yeah, and it's a time to really, and I feel like this too. The first week or two, I think a lot of players are just not quite in the groove of getting back to double dip, with some exceptions. I think there's a few people who, like, that first week, shake rust off, didn't have time, or this and that. But by week 3, a lot of people are really, like, back into the full proper swing of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That being said, I do think it is a little early to discount people who haven't gotten that win yet. You know, like, at that point, like, because at that point, they have nothing to lose. Yeah. They are gonna pull out some crazy shit, whether it be just something that is, like, mind-numbingly, like, busted, or just something that is mind-numbingly stupid that you have no idea how to counter.
And that's the thing. So there's a lot of Pokemon on a lot of teams that you don't really think they're gonna come, but then they bring it and they have it set up or do a little something, and you didn't bring a way to hit it. Then what are you going to do if you didn't plan for this Pokemon to come that came, and you're like, well, they're never gonna bring Trapinch this week, and then they bring Trapinch that week or something. Not that Trapinch is in this division, but it's a, you know, that's just an example. But with that being said,
I'm still sad about Trapinch.
Me too. I completely agree with that. Oh, I got like stuff in my hair from when I was leaf blowing the yard earlier.
Kind of leaf?
Yeah.
Are you by chance a Leafy on?
No, I'm
oh wait,
not
too early.
We're also
too
not on
early.
that match first. But...
Too early.
But which match are we on?
It's fine. We'll fix that. We'll fix that in post.
No, you know what? Everything stays in.
Editor.
Okay.
Editor.
Yeah.
All right, put that in.
Okay.
Right.
With that being said, who's our first match?
Our first match is Nihilus 5 versus Not Pimp.
Yes.
Nihilus, coach of the Dallas Duckletts. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I do not remember Not Pimp. Is that Cracked Kricketunes?
It is the Cracked Kricketunes, and both players have a great history. Nihilus having a bit of a rough season. Going into this fight, I believe Nihilus is 0-2 at like a -6-ish or something, -7. But I can find out in like 3 seconds. Either way, Nihilus, I think, has just been busy, hasn't had a lot of time to look into it, but, you know, those aren't excuses for doing bad at double dip. You have all the answers in front of you, calculators and all this and that and everything. But But that is the case. Ninetales is at a -6 at an. This is week 3. That's week 1. Where's week 2? It should be in here somewhere.
I think this is week
1. It's a 1-1 -2. Yes. Okay. So he did have a win. I thought he had 2 losses for some reason. That's me. That's my bad. So Ninetales at a 1-1 -2 coming in, which actually is perfectly fine. That's super respectable. Actually going into week 3.
Yep.
Notpimp, by the way, is at the top with a 2-0 at 4. So having a pretty solid season so far, and this is probably going to be a nice difference for either player. If Ninetales gets a good win here, that's some good diff that he could use. If Pimp loses, well, it's not the end of the world because he's still got some pretty okay diff and win streak right now.
Yeah, and Notpimp is definitely a player that you do want to beat. He off season he came by and just kind of washed everyone. I believe he was the winner of the off season.
Yes.
Like 99% certain.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
He had one loss that entire season.
For a second. Yeah. And I believe Grand Finals was Nihilus versus Notpimp.
Yep.
So this is a run back.
Yeah.
So Nihilus definitely looking for revenge in this match.
Looking at team preview, I do love seeing Ursuluna Blood Moon. Always fun. I see a lot of speed on Notpimp's team and ready to kind of hit hard, go fast.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on Nihilus' side, you have very little speed, but a lot of bulk. You got Clefable, you've got Dusclops, both very infamously bulky Pokemon. Great Tusk. Yeah, Tusk, the great physical wall of OU. And then Clawitzer is decently bulky, but mostly that thing just hit really hard.
Yeah, and same with Arcanine, also just hits really hard. And Illumise is here. That gets Prankster.
That does get Prankster. That is a good Prankster user. And it does get Tailwind, so that is a way to circumvent, losing out on speed. Especially with a Pokemon like Arcanine, who is going to be, while it is decently fast, it's definitely going to be slower than most of Notpimp's Pokemon.
Yeah. With that being said, though, maybe we should take a gander and take a look at the fight and see how these two players perform.
I love blood. Show it to me.
Yeah. Well, there's no Ursuluna Blood Moon here, but that's an overheat from a Zebstrika with an eject pack to switch out into something, and that's really cool.
Yeah, I do really like that. Going with a knockoff, a very safe button, just to kind of get some extra chip.
Yeah, I definitely think that Notpimp had in mind Earthquake would be clicked when Zebstrika was seen. So doing overheat into something else was really cool because there was a balloon on Cerulege. So really well thought out, really cool tech.
Yeah. And then being able to see the Rocky Helmet was also nice. I do find it funny every time when recoil damage is less than Rocky Helmet damage. I just think it's a really funny little thing.
Yeah. The bird comes out, gets pain splitted, and that's actually a decent amount of HP back for Dusclops.
It always amazes me how little Dusclops' HP stat is. Because I know Talonflame is definitely not a Pokemon with a lot of HP.
Yeah.
Yeah, the taunt is huge, preventing Dusclops from getting any more health back.
Yep.
Preventing it from throwing out burns. Ice Beam,
freeze,
and getting the immediate freeze.
Yeah,
does suck a lot. It's just very unfortunate.
Setting up rocks, which is really nice because at this point, Great Tusk is gone, and Nihilus has no way to spin things away.
Yep, and that does mean that Arcanine cannot come out that much. Some Pokemon like Dusclops here, they don't really care too much. Clefable, depending on what set it is, will definitely not care if it's Magic Guard.
Yeah.
Or if it's unaware and wearing fake Magic Guard with its boots.
We get a Will-O-Wisp, solid. Oh wait, nope, that's a Lumberry. That's okay though. You know what? Some people are just a little stubborn, and Nihilus goes for a Will-O-Wisp once again.
I do love the no. You are being burned.
Yeah.
You do not get to walk away scot-free here.
to Rock's Clefable that missed Fire Blast, which I don't believe would have unfrozen this thing, but that's okay. It unfroze the next turn.
Yeah, and that is an unfortunate chip that we miss out on, but when push comes to shove, I do think Ursaluna Blood Moon can actually 1v1 this.
Yep.
We do see that it is unaware, because that did do the same amount of damage.
Yeah.
Unless I'm stupid, but
no,
someone in the comments will tell me.
The same amount of damage. So this thing's unaware, and it just sits here, does wishing. Unaware is so good and helpful for a lot of that.
Yeah. I think with Moonlight, maybe you could have won, but it would have been a very long, drawn-out battle.
Yeah. So we do see a tailwind here. We do get knockoff from Heavy Duty Boots, which is a bit of a shame. We do get a Roost, though, which is a little odd. I understand that Ninetales wanted that to, kind of die there, and then we get Rain up. But at this point now, we only have one turn of Tailwind left.
Yeah, Rain is interesting. I get it to boost Clawitzer, but also it weakens Flare Blitz here. At this point, there's no reason why we shouldn't be clicking Head Smash.
Yeah, I don't know the counts. I wonder if Clawitzer just wasn't fast enough to outspeed that, even with Tailwind. Actually, no, Tailwind's not based on speed. It's just your team goes first, right?
No, it is. It doubles your speed.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. But I do think Tailwind should have came out last. Maybe Rain Dance should have came out first. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. Nihilus did still manage to squeeze out that win.
Yeah.
Just by outlasting not Pimp's Pokemon.
Yeah. And that's a pretty nice win for Nihilus. We'll have to check the standings at the end of all this, but yeah. A couple little interesting, just little things here and there that happened in this fight, but nothing crazy. Kind of a standard, fight with a couple little, I almost said stumbles, but that's not the right word, because neither player stumbled really at all.
Yeah, there were some questionable plays to be sure, but nothing bad. This is still a very solidly played match. At the end of the day, you can nitpick any match, no matter who it is. But at the end of the day, someone had a simple plan in mind. Maybe they didn't necessarily execute the plan perfectly, but at the same time, they still played really well.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that being said, the win does go to Nihilus, and we move on to our next fight, which is Firebolt of the Northern Ninetales versus Skittles of the Crystal Cresselias. Skittles, of course, having the mono-type team this season, very much a carryover from the previous season, not the off-season, of a mono water team in Season 6, which was a lot more solid than a mono poison team. Can you tell me some of the issues with poison?
Well, first of all, you do have a very big ground weakness.
Yeah.
You at least one Pokemon, if not multiple, have to run a balloon, otherwise you are screwed. Alongside that, even with that, you're still also quite weak to Psychic, and while there are a good number of Psychic and Dark Pokemon, I don't know if Skittles actually managed to get their hands on any of them. Well, aside from Skuntank, obviously.
Skuntank and Galarian Slowking.
That's not Poison Dark.
It's Poison Psychic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Poison Psychic, which, is neutral. It is quite nice, and at the same time, it's not really going to care about a special attacking Psychic move.
Yeah.
But alongside that, there's just a lot of really good Steel types and a lot of really good Ground types this generation, honestly.
Yeah. And speaking of which, Excadrill is both of those things, and Jirachi is a solid Steel type.
Yeah, Firebolt has two of the better Steel types just right there. And alongside that, Delphox is actually a pretty scary Pokemon in this matchup, in all honesty.
You can tear it around and just kind of go rampant.
Yep. Which, while small spoiler, we sadly do not get to see.
Yeah, kind of a shame.
Yeah.
But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this matchup and see how things play out. We do get Snow immediately. I see Balloon.
Yep. And Balloon on Gengar, very nice. Losing Levitate always sucked, so having Balloon on this thing is very nice.
Yeah.
should have probably tried to predict the switch there, because at that point, like, they have no reason to stay in. Like, Sludge Bomb is definitely going to kill.
Yeah.
Should have at least gone for Shadow Ball or something like that.
Yeah. A little unfortunate on Goodra. Thankfully, Excadrill, it missed. Clicking Hex, which is fine. Unsure about this. Fireball clicking Acid Armor. You know, it does get Body Press, but Gengar is a Ghost type.
Yeah. Also, like, there's just not a whole lot of reason to really boost defense right now. Like, most of Skittles' team are special attackers.
Yeah.
So at that point, should have just tried doing something else.
I believe he was running Dragon Tail, and had he clicked Dragon Tail, you know, switch out on rocks, get some chip damage. That's always nice.
Yeah. The crit also sucked, but, you know, getting the revenge with Dusknoir, very nice.
Yeah. And then dying with Dusknoir.
Well, you know, it did its job.
Yeah, that's true. So Warden back up. Another Aurora Veil coming out. Poison Jab doing 16.
Cannot believe. I mean, I get it, that's burn and, you know, the ice, like the ice type defense boost and the Aurora Veil, but like, come on.
Yep. Knockoff weakness policy, so good.
Yeah, this is kind of the doom here. This is the doom I desire.
Yeah.
Get it?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, oh, Doom Desire. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, no. At this point, like, Jirachi does just kind of go ham. The crit does not matter. I still don't understand why Iron Moth is minimum speed.
Yeah, that should have been faster than Jirachi. I don't understand that.
Yeah, now granted, it still would not have like killed or anything like that, but I have questions.
Shank Sap, that's neat and all, but you should have probably just hit this thing.
Yeah.
And Aura Sphere comes in and just kills this. Yep. And that's the fight. It's you know, I think Fireball got a little greedy with Goodra. Could have probably wrapped it up a little bit sooner. But
yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have that much to say on this fight.
Yeah, no, this is just a unfortunate matchup. You know, running a monotype team is difficult. Albeit it is very fun, and I'm glad they're having fun with it.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know, running a type like Poison, especially like that, like you need to be prepared for a lot of stuff. Yeah. And while I think Skittles does have like a team that can like cover a lot of it, like it's not easy by any means.
Yeah. One thing I think would be pretty fun next season, I think Mono Electric would be a really fun team type, actually. Or Mono Ground, potentially. Obviously, every type has its own weaknesses, but there's a lot of solid Pokemon within Ground and also within, like, Electric that I think you can get away with some stuff.
You know, I kind of like the idea, actually, of every season you pick whatever type was super effective against you last season.
Ooh,
so,
that'd be fun.
you know... So, you know, now you get a choice between Mono Ground or Mono Psychic.
Mono Ground just sounds fun, because there's, like, Ground Water in there, and then, you know, some other fun things with that, like Ground Electric, Ground Fire. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
But, yeah, with that being said, though, that was that fight. We're moving on. We got a couple other fights here to go through.
So, up next is ASCII of... Ooh, what is their team? Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet.
Starts with a...
Is it Philadelphia Phantumps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
And then, if not, you know, someone will yell at us.
I'm certain someone will yell at us for sure.
Yep.
That is correct, though. I just double checked.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, we have ASCII of the Philadelphia Phantumps versus Scoots of Dumblespoods Army.
Yeah, Scoots, one of the best players in the league. Stunning. I think has made it to playoffs every single season.
Yeah, if not every single season, definitely most. If not every single.
Pretty sure it's every single.
Yeah, pretty sure as well. No, Scoots is a fantastic player. ASCII is one of our newcomers.
Mm-hmm.
But I forget, was it their first week or their second week that they won?
I'm not 100% sure, actually. We probably need to go back and look for sure.
Yeah. Either way, though, does have a pretty like scary draft. You know, first of all, they do have Ogerpon Hearthflame.
I wanted that.
Yep, terrifying Pokemon. A lot of people wanted that.
Scizor.
You know, got
I also wanted that.
Yep. And we can see both of those at Team Preview, as well as some other interesting Pokemon. Kilowattrel, you know, probably one of my favorite, like, at least like gameplay-wise, regional birds. It is very simple in what it does, but just like very fun.
Yeah. I see Wartortle.
Yeah, Wartortle, a little interesting. That is a good rapid spinner. Evilite, you know, I imagine it's got to be decently bulky.
I mean, you get Shell Smash.
Yeah, it does get Shell Smash. I don't remember. I know a lot of Pokemon did get Scald back. I don't know if Wartortle is one of them, but if so, that is like pretty good tech, being able to just spread burn.
Yep, Prankster
with Wartortle.
Also fun here.
Yep. I'm gonna find out. Does this thing get Scald? It does not.
And a Lowland Dugtrio also here, which is a great trapper. It goes fast, it hits hard, and that's about all it does, actually. It also dies hard, too, and dies fast.
I don't think a Lowland Dugtrio is a trapper, actually.
Is it not? Oh, it gets Tangled Hair, that's what it is. It doesn't get
it's got Tangling Hair. Yeah, no, it loses Arena Trap, unfortunately.
Well,
it also loses 10 points of speed.
That's crazy, really?
Yeah, it loses 10 points of speed, and it gets into physical defense. So it goes from base 50 to base 60.
Weird. 90 speed?
110 speed.
110 speed. Okay, that's right. Dugtrio is 120.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, though, I do see Ting-Lu and Raging Bolt, which them alone are terrifying, which I also wanted Ting-Lu.
I think a lot of people wanted Ting-Lu. That's a very bulky Pokemon.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Raging Bolt, terrifying, you know, long neck. And then Scoots is famous Leafeon. Scoots loves Leafeon and Weavile. But honestly, when I do think of Scoots as a player, I do picture Leafeon like not far behind. He is able to make Leafeon look like an OU Pokemon.
Yeah, I had Leafeon last season, and actually it helped me beat Scoots last season as well. It's really fun to use. It just hits hard and can go really fast with Chlorophyll. It's a solid Pokemon. But you know, I don't see anything that sets Sun here.
Nope, I don't either.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. I do see Minior, which is really fun. I feel like Minior does not get a lot of love or get seen a lot.
I have a small story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had an old friend, an old veteran of Double Dip.
Okay.
Back in the early days, Nightfall 28. Which, you know, if you're not familiar with that name, you're too young for this video. Click off. But no, great guy. He spent so long hunting down a shiny Meteor.
Oh really?
Yeah, he spent I think days, weeks hunting that thing down, only for the next Pokemon game to come out and announce that Minior and many other Pokemon are not going to make it into that Pokemon game. To which point he was just like, "Well, I'm done."
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
What a story. Well, with that being said, let's take a look at this matchup and see how things played out. Murkrow's a solid start. It does a lot. It can set up Rain.
Yeah. Rain, very fun. I do love that. I do think going hard into Kilowattrel is a bit of a mistake, just because this thing can hit really hard.
Yeah.
And knockoff is kind of free.
Mm-hmm. This thing also hits really hard. Ting-Lu coming out.
Yeah. I do like switching out though. This is a pretty big reveal that you are not Volt Absorb. Which I think honestly, if you know your opponent has Raging Bolt, you should probably bring Volt Absorb. I'm not gonna bullshit you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fine. Now we get. Oh, that's not Rain.
No,
that's Sun.
That's Sun. Hey,
yeah.
You know, there's someone here who likes Sun. Ogrepon Hearthflame is one of those.
Yeah, I love Sun. You know, look at this Solar Blade, incredible. I do love the double weather. Yeah. This is really cool.
Hey, look,
however,
Leafeon's back. Oh, look, Terra Fire. Oh, look, Terra Blast. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, well,
that's okay. I'm sure, you know, something could come in and kill it.
Yeah, you know, Terra Water to live the. Oh no, never mind.
Okay. So quad weak to fire. You get Bullet Punch though. Okay. Oh, you have an Akaberry. Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, no, that is Sun boosted. You know, quad effective.
Yep. Oh, it's Cody.
Fine.
Oh,
Cody.
And Killacho dies to rocks. Yeah, fire.
Yeah.
Sun kind of blundered what you're going for a little bit.
Yeah, so definitely overcooked a little bit. Mm-hmm. I prepared a little too much food.
A little too much cooking in the sun.
Yep. You know, I love the double weather. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But you know, when you see a lot of Pokemon that can actually take advantage of the sun, and I say a lot, it's really just two. It's just Leafeon and Raging Bolt. Probably better to not click it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what the sun really was there for. I know Solar Blade's great, hits hard, but like, is it just to ensure the KO on Tinglu? Because, you know, I get that for sure. But at that point, you know, Leafeon Chlorophyll is really scary. I think you can't predict what your opponent's going to bring. And, you know, Terrifier, Leafeon, it probably was because, you know, Scizor comes in on it. It's a good safe switch in usually Leafeon. But then Leafeon clicks Terrifier and it goes faster.
Yeah.
So, either way, though, that is a solid win for Scoot, who's been doing really well, and I think was 0-2 already at like a +9 or something.
They were definitely 0-2. I don't remember what the diff was before. Well, sorry, 2-0. I don't remember if it was 9. It's 14 now. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, and we'll take a look at that with the standings. But we got one more match to look through for Teal Division, which is Chemith of the Washed Up Wishiwashis and Night of Nights of the Miami Milotics? Question mark? No.
Yes.
Yes? Really? Did I get that right?
Yes, it is Miami Milotics.
Oh, thank goodness. I was so worried for a bit that I didn't get that right.
Yep, nope, you are indeed correct. Chemith has had a fantastic season so far.
Yeah.
His Pheasantipity has been the bane of many people right now.
Uh-huh.
But alongside that, he has like a pretty solid draft. He definitely has some Pokemon that you don't really usually see, but Chemith is kind of really good at pulling out like that hidden potential of those Pokemon. Like, you know, he does have Terapagos as the S tier, which for those of you who do not know, for a reason, while yes, Terapagos is legal, it is not allowed to Terra. Yep. Any Pokemon that is C tier or below is allowed to Terra, but nothing above it.
Yeah.
And Terapagos is an S tier. But alongside that, you've got some other Pokemon like Kommo-o. You've got Swampert, which he did steal from me, but you know it's fine. It's fine. I'm not
you're not upset. Scyther's also here. About it. Goes fast, hits hard. Esper Wing over on Braviary Hisui is really fun.
But Night of Nights.
I see little fish in corner.
Yeah, I see little fish. Very deadly little fish. We got Iron Hands. We've got Tornadoes. We've got Amoonguss. Gastrodon has always been like a really powerful draft Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
Altaria, it's there. You wanted it?
I did. I wanted Cloud9 actually.
Oh, I see. You wanted anti-weather.
I did want anti-weather because there's so many things with photosynthesis and all that fun stuff and everything. And you know what? It gets Cotton Guard and Dragon Dance.
That's fair.
So
that is fair.
But yeah, with that being said, though, I think we should kind of just dive right into it to see how this final match plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Umunga start, very fun. Poison Grass, solid. Yep. Hey, that doesn't want to stick on this because that gets Earthquake, and that's a powerful neutral attack.
Yeah, this thing does also, I believe, get Overcoat, so Spore would be useless here anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, Phantumps comes out. No one wants to get beat up, but not going for beat up this time. Going for Sledge Bomb.
Yeah.
I'll still get the Toxic Chain though.
And it stays in. But I mean, to be fair, I don't think a lot of people think of Chi-Yu using Psychic.
Yeah, but also at that point, it is Phantumps is kind of the weakest link at that point. So I do agree with that. This Altaria does just kind of get to sit here. Doesn't really take a whole lot. The flinch is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, just gets to protect. We're kind of right back where we were earlier. I think maybe even a little bit higher.
Yeah. Hey, one of the few defoggers left.
Yep.
That was the other reason I wanted it.
He is definitely trying to predict the Chi-Yu switch, which doesn't even come out.
Yeah.
Winds up being Gastrodon. But still doesn't want to take any damage from that.
That Earthquake doing 77% is kind of insane.
That did so much. I wonder if it was banded.
Ooh, you know what? Maybe. The turtle is here. The turtle gets knocked off. Goodbye, safety goggles.
Yeah. I do understand the safety goggles, but I think it is unfortunate that you do lose out on the better multi-scale that it has. But at the same time, we are now up to +1 in everything.
I don't know if that was a roll to kill there. A bit of a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. Iron Hand's coming out. I do think at that point you do go for Chip and you just get this thing down to lower health because that definitely would have killed from here. And Swampert would still be alive, which I guess maybe you don't necessarily need Swampert, but it would have been nice to have.
Yeah. And at this point, we do have Kameth a little bit on a back foot. Nothing crazy, but with Ninetales just still going through. Although I will say Ninetales has a lot of chip on everything. But Kameth, having less Pokemon 3 to 5 right now, it's kind of a shame.
Yep. I like trying to predict the switch, but no, at that point, just kind of getting the chip off.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think Como is kind of free now.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have a whole lot. This does hurt, but in theory, as long as you keep clicking Drain Punch, you do outlast it. But unfortunately, he goes for Taunt. I don't know. Maybe you don't outlast it, actually, because Gastrodon is doing a lot of chip with Ice Beam.
Yeah. Although now at this point, it can't recover, so... Hey, look, Scyther. Hey, look, normal.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Sword Stance.
Yeah, so...
This thing doesn't get priority, does it?
Oh, it does. Quick attack, it's right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, with Terra Normal and, Technician boosted quick attack, that is not a bad move to have.
Yeah.
It's a move that a lot of people don't think about, but it's only because that a lot of Pokemon that get it usually get a better priority move.
Mm-hmm.
But Scyther doesn't have to worry about that. No, it gets quick attack and it loves it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good because everything had so much chip on Knight's team, it just dies. And Kameth retakes it, being down to 2 Pokemon versus 5, and just takes it back with Scyther.
Yeah. No, quick attack was a great play. A lot of people forget about it nowadays. Now, since Megas aren't no longer a thing, no one has to worry about Aerialate, quick attack, Pinsir. Yeah, but Kameth remembers those days, and he decided, you know what? Paranormal, stab boosted quick attack with Scyther. It's not bad.
It's pretty solid.
Pretty solid. I think I'll use that a little bit.
Yeah. Great late game sweeper, because again, it was just enough chip. Everything was around half health or less. So it just easily came in and killed everything, and that was really solid.
Yeah, and it looked like maybe like Evilite or something to make it a little bit more bulky, so that way it doesn't take much from Ice Beam at all.
Yeah. And with that being said, let me pull up the stats for week 3, because I just realized I was staring at week 2 still. And I'm like, those numbers don't look right, and it's because they're not right. We're at week 3.
Yep.
So with that being said, we do have Teal Division having the highest and lowest player, differential-wise. I mean, you know, last place is tied with a different division, but
I was going to say, okay.
With that being said, would you grab the top half and I'll grab the bottom half?
Yeah, sure. So we, of course, at the very top, we have Dumblespoods Army. We have Scoots sitting at a nice, comfortable 3-0 with a differential of 14.
Wow.
No, sitting very comfy. I think at this point, like, Scoots has to really start, like, messing up. For him to not make playoffs at this point, which granted it is still possible.
Yeah.
But it's not very likely. I think at this point Scoots is definitely assured to make playoffs.
Yeah.
At least as long as he keeps playing like he is now.
And then we dive down for second place.
Yeah, no, we have washed up Wishiwashis Chemith, sitting at 2-1 with only a differential of 3.
That's crazy.
You know, it's not the highest, but at the same time, you know, I think something that I've been seeing a lot, mostly in Scarlet Division, is a lot of people are really trying to play for diff, like, early on. And that's fine. But I don't think that's the way to play. You know, at the end of the day, you need to win your matches first. And that's kind of what a lot of people in Teal Division are really looking for. Like, they're looking to win rather than get the differential up. The diff can be something that comes later. The win, you only have so many chances.
Yeah.
Right underneath, we do have Cracked Kricketunes, sitting at 2-1 with a differential of 2. You know, even though they did lose this week, you know, they've still been playing really good. You know, this time around, it does feel a lot more even. You know, I remember in the off season when they played, they were kind of just, you know, going through everyone except who was it that beat them again? What
me.
Was it you?
It was.
That's what I thought. Yep.
Yeah.
But you know, this time around it does seem like a lot more even spaced. And then right underneath we have the Dallas Duckletts Ninetales sitting at 2-1 as well with a differential of 0.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to the wins, like you were saying, because underneath that we have the Miami Milotics at a 1-2 at +2 differential. And even though the diff is higher than Ninetales still has the wins.
Exactly. Like, at the end of the day, differential does not matter as long as you have the wins over your opponents.
Yeah. It will matter at some point, but overall, the wins are what matter more.
Yeah, like, honestly, aside from Scoots, like, everyone on this list has, like, pretty much an equal chance, I feel, to get to playoffs right now.
Yeah. With that being said, we also have the Philadelphia Phantumps at a 1-2 -2. We have another 1-2 -2 for the Northern Ninetales at -5. And Skittles holding up the caboose at 0-3 -14. Which is actually our last positive-negative tie. For like the mirroring tie. It's kind of crazy.
Pour one out for the homie.
Yeah.
Pour out some sludge for the homie. He needs it.
Yeah, some black sludge on the ground over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited to see what next week brings. Here's the thing. I think next week will solidify if Scoots is in or not, because if Scoots gets 4 wins, I don't think Scoots is not going to playoffs at that point. It is possible for, you know, Chemith, Nihilus, and like not Pimp to kind of take it back and, like, you know, maybe bump him down a few pegs, and maybe Milotics could as well. But overall, I think Scoots is pretty happy up there.
Yeah, no, if he can secure next week, he is basically locked in for playoffs.
Yeah.
He only really needs one more at this point.
Yeah.
and even then, like his differential would still be like, still pretty high. Mm-hmm. Everyone else does still have to, be aware. Everyone's still gotta like kind of keep up, with what their opponent is doing. Really try and get those predictions. I think at this point, this is kind of the time to start worrying about differential. Mm-hmm. Maybe our 2-1s, they want to get at least one more win under their belt first.
Yeah.
But after that, that's definitely the time to start worrying about diff.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for Nihilus. Having a differential of 0, like, yes, you are still in the top 4. But if Miami Milotics does wind up tying with you, like you are in a lot of trouble. Mm-hmm. So that is just something to be aware of.
Yep. And keep in mind head-to-heads too. That's also a really big proponent in all this. When you have the same diff as someone, but you lost to them in a previous match, or you won your previous match against them, then you have to be careful of the potential of just like, being tied with them. Because if you lost, then you're going to fall down in the rankings.
Yep.
But we'll have to see how all that plays out next week. Because that's all I really have to say at this point. Like, I'm all out of words for the most part. We've already gone through the whole thing, did the stuff, we talked the talk, and I'm kind of just excited to see where week 4 goes.
Yeah, no, I am too. I ran out of words a long time ago, but I kept going,
Hey, you know what? That's what we do. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for being awesome. Please be sure to check out the Violet Division as well as the Scarlet Division, hosted by other people. I don't know who yet.
Someone.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm sure I'm probably one of them. But anyways, take care and have a great time. Goodbye.
Bye.